Thank you for joining us once again, everybody. Brady Cannon here with SportsGrid live at the G2E 2025 edition on the Venetian Expo floor in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. And joining us now, Jeff Laniado. He is the Director of Sales for Optimove, an iGaming sales company. And Jeff, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm looking at your information here, and you hear so much stuff. There's so many different facets of this gaming world that we live in. What is iGaming sales? What are you selling? Are you selling games, slot machines?
So we're a CRM marketing platform. Okay. So the way that I describe it is we help operators get a better understanding of who their customers are and market to them in the most effective way.
Okay.
So we're taking in data, we're looking at customers, we're looking at future value prediction, churn probability, product propensity, who has a high likelihood of becoming a VIP, and helping operators communicate with those players through emails or push notifications or SMS messages in the most optimal manner for retention and making sure that players are having a good experience with the operators.
So do you sell them software?
It's a software, that's right.
Okay, and so they implement that into their operating system, what have you, and it kind of profiles their database, if you will?
Exactly. So if it's an existing operator that's been live for 2 years or 4 years, we're ingesting their historical data. We're taking in customer data for however long they've been live. There's a lot of data science and modeling that looks at those historic customers, looks for tendencies and propensities. Are there certain activities that are linked to a player being a high future value, or are there specific characteristics that we look for that are tied to players that have other specific propensities or cross-sell opportunities? So we're looking at all that customer intelligence, and typically we're dealing with marketers on the operator side and helping them understand what is the best way to be sending emails and messages to different customers based on retention strategies and practices.
Do you work with land-based casinos as well?
It's primarily online gaming, so within the online gaming space, we are working with a lot of the big tier 1, tier 2 real money gaming operators, sports books, casinos. A lot of the DFS brands are using us as well, sweepstakes. We have a few operators that are online and land-based, and we will ingest some level of retail data to help them get visibility so that, if a customer downloads the app and they sign up and they're a VIP on the land-based side, we want to have an understanding of who that customer is so that when they get that first email from us, or when they get that first bonus from us, it's linked with who that player is on the retail side. But our focus is primarily on the online business.
What is an example of a brand name online sportsbook?
Hard Rock, Caesars, Rush Street.
Okay, so like on my phone, I have a BetMGM app.
BetMGM
is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, so BetMGM is a client of ours, so when you're getting emails from them, when you're getting push notifications, when you're getting pop-ups, that's powered by Optimove.
Gotcha. Very cool. Okay. I've talked with another gentleman who I believe runs a company similar to what you're doing. I don't think it's exactly the same, but it does involve trying to target customers with pertinent information, because that's the best way to sell somebody something that you have found, data, trends, whatever, is showing that person is interested in this type of thing, right?
Exactly.
So you're helping, funnel that pitch or what have you to cater to the customer's needs.
Sure, with the big distinction that marketing is typically divided into acquisition and retention.
Right.
So you have acquisition, you have growth. There are people out there whose jobs it is to get players in the door, right? Get them to download the app, get them to register, get them to become a first-time depositor. That's sort of outside of the realm of what our focus is. Once customers are in the database, our focus is how do we maximize their lifetime value? How do we make sure that they're staying with our app? How do we make sure that they're being cross-sold and diversifying their product experience with us? So there's this kind of dichotomy between acquisition and retention, and I've been with Optimove for 6 years and focusing on the US market, primarily Canada as well. And it's been a really interesting shift where when I started in 2020, a lot of states are rolling out. It was definitely a little bit of a land grab, and I think a lot of the focus was on that acquisition side. How do we get first-time depositors? When we go into a new state, how do we build up that database? And I would say the last 2 or 3 years, especially as the state rollout has slowed up, there's been a shift to more of retention.
Okay, yeah, right. That makes a lot of sense. What I was getting at, in this profiling and this targeting and this customer history, you could translate this anywhere. It doesn't have to be with sports betting, right?
I mean, retention marketing is a practice everywhere, in every industry, right? E-com, retail, media, gaming in particular, and that's our focus, that's my focus. Optimove as a company is very, very concentrated in the gaming space. It is particularly unique for a few reasons. So one, if you think about how much data an online operator, an online casino, an online sportsbook is generating, and I'd like to contrast this to pick a retailer, The Gap, Banana Republic. There's marketers there, right? And maybe I'm a customer and I buy a shirt, right? And you know that this is Jeff, he bought a shirt. If I'm a really good customer of The Gap, maybe, again, in 3 weeks, I'll buy a pair of pants, right? But we're giving such a limited scope of data. You know that I'm Jeff and I like a shirt.
Okay.
Now, contrast that to BetMGM, for example. Their best customers, they're seeing on a daily basis.
Right.
And consider the volume of data that a highly active, a highly engaged customer is feeding to them. Every bet that they make, every leg of every parlay, every hand of every blackjack, every balance, every click, every login, there is just a mass amount of data that operators are collecting and hopefully harnessing in the right way. So our platform has really hit a sweet spot with being able to take in that data, manage that high volume of intelligence, and help make sense of it.
Very cool. High volume of intelligence. That's really what it is. And you explained it well there. I pretty much bet every day. I don't play table games, but I'm a big sports guy. I don't bet a lot of money, but I bet often because it's fun. And I've become pretty good at it over the years. But you're right. You think about the volume and the tracking of someone like me, anybody that's involved in this stuff. I thought that was a good example there versus, you walk into a store once a year.
That's right. Yeah, there's just a very high level of engagement. Customers are engaging every day and they want to be communicated to every day. It's a very unique industry from a marketing perspective like that. And as a primarily sports bettor, it sounds like, hopefully when operators are marketing to you, if they're doing it in a sophisticated way, they're not serving up table games, they're not serving up slots. If you like hockey, we should have that NHL, the Rangers game tonight, prioritized in the email that we're sending, or even the front end of the app or the website. So there's just so much opportunity to personalize because there's so much data out there.
Very interesting. Are you a sports fan yourself?
I'm a big sports fan.
Is that how you kind of got into this?
Kind of just fell into the industry. I think that's probably why I stayed here, just because I feel like these are my people and really enjoy the world that we play in. But kind of just 6 years ago, I was at a software company previously, selling in a completely different industry. Always was interested in marketing, big sports fan, was an early DFS player, so always been keen on the industry, and yeah, really enjoying it.
Where are you from?
New Jersey.
New Jersey, okay. And you're headed out later today?
Red eye back tonight to New Jersey.
Now, obviously, sports betting is legal in New Jersey. Do you bet on sports?
Not really, no.
Not really.
A industry person that doesn't participate.
Any reason?
Not really. I mean, I'm constantly checking lines and I'm still following the industry and the trends avidly, but more just a spectator looking on from the outside.
Do you kind of have to be educated in that realm, like you say, looking at lines, knowing what's going on? Is that a little bit part of your job as well?
I think, specific lines, maybe not necessarily. That's more just
know what's going on, though.
Knowing what's going on, knowing, Missouri is launching later this year, and Alberta's opening up in Canada, and obviously the prediction markets and the sweepstakes, and it's one of the things I like about the industry, other than just being personally interested in it, is that it's just constantly evolving.
Right.
Every year it feels like at G2E we come and there's a new theme, there's a new trend.
Yeah, new hot topic.
New hot topic, and 2 years ago it was sweepstakes, and this year it's prediction markets, and we're talking to a lot of companies that are in the mystery box space. So unboxing, this gamified version of you make a purchase and you put down $50 and you have a chance of winning a $5,000 watch, or you could win a box of strawberries and you spin a wheel to get it, and it's it's a very innovative, constantly evolving industry, so it's a lot of fun.
He is Jeff Laniado. He is the Director of Sales for Optimove. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Absolutely.